everybody. This is Reggie.
And this is Ken.
We've been having a conversation lately just about, setbacks, handicaps, and things of that sort. And just a big one that always comes up is two-parent versus single-parent homes.
And basically with this topic, me and Reg, we were just kind of discussing our personal upbringings. And with Reg having both of his parents in his life and me really just having my mom, I did have a stepfather as well, majority of my life. But as far as just having that solid two-parent household, being, biological mother, biological father. So this basically been one of those topics that we've been discussing. We've discussed over the years, but we decided to bring it to the podcast to kind of, give some insight on our personal experiences with it. So, what's something that you feel?
Number one is just like I felt like you have all these memes and stuff about ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your mom, ask your dad, and like for me, my parents are like for the most part always on the same page. So like I had a two-parent home, but they moved as a unit, so like it was like one answer most of the time. But like just it's hard to compare just because I don't have a basis for that. Like me and you, like where we are professionally and where we are in life is, pretty much identical. If you think about it, like we both artists, we both moved out of state to the same state, up the street. Mm-hmm. We both got married in the same year. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a mirror where we are now. So it's like, is it really a handicap?
Yeah.
Are we the exception?
Gotcha.
So I think that's just what I'm dealing with about it.
Gotcha. For me personally, just kind of give like some background with my personal situation. Basically, like I said, I did grow up majority of my life, and I did have a stepfather in my life. But as far as like my mom and my stepdad's relationship, it was more so my mom. She was, I can't say more so the parent. She was just more so like had all aspects of it, like as far as discipline, as far as like all these different areas that parents would normally have. So I never got disciplined by my stepfather in any way, shape, or form. Which as a kid was cool because I'm like, shoot, like I know I'm good when it comes to that.
You got the good parts. He was supportive and everything.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He never had to bring the law.
Exactly. Which and being a male, and being a man now, but being a boy then, I feel like that was, now that I'm older, I realize how important that was. But of course, like I said, back then, it's kind of like, oh, it's cool because, I know like I ain't got nothing to worry about. I know I ain't got to worry about. Exactly. You get the free pass. So for me, it was always on that tip then. But I feel like being within the household as such, it allowed for, it could kind of be like more one-sided, like how you said, your parents moved like basically in unison. For me, it was more so if my mom said something, it was good. You know what I'm saying? If she agreed, it was good. If she didn't agree, it wasn't good. Yeah. So, and that was it, So I felt like a lot of things that I could have been doing or I didn't do or whatever, I feel like, that played a huge role within it. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, like I said, it's one of those things where it has its pros and its cons. And most of the pros are because you're young-minded. So you just kind of on that tip of just being like, oh, cool. But when you get older, you realize that, there are definitely more cons than there were pros. But, it worked out.
Right. So you would say that, one-parent home is a handicap?
Not necessarily. I feel like it depends on what you personally take from it. I feel like if I would have gravitated more so towards the cons in the situation, or more so towards the things that I feel like could negatively affect me, then it can become a handicap. And I could have used it as, well, I just, my mom basically raised me. So I could have used that as an excuse to, kind of shortchange myself. And I feel like that's what caused it to be a handicap. It's not necessarily what the situation is or was, but it's more so the mindset that comes from the situation.
I got you. I mean, I agree. Like, your way of thinking definitely can change a lot. I just asked because, like, you know, when you always hear about these rags to riches stories or people that just, like, made it in life, you know, it's always, you know, I only had my mom, or it's most of the time I only had my mom. I know it's single dads out there too, but like, speaking of single dads, we got one of our good friends is a single dad, and I mean he's rocking it. But like, you always hear about, you know, I only had mom in the house. Mom was at every football game. Mom was this. Mom was that. Like LeBron James, like that's the first one that comes to mind. You know, but you don't really too much hear about, you know, well, I had both parents at home. I mean, not saying that's not there. It's just like maybe it's not commercial to talk about that. But that's why I asked, like, is it a handicap, or is it the way of thinking about that makes it a handicap? Like coming up in the hood versus, you know, coming up in the suburbs. Is it a handicap? Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like it's about the person, not the circumstances. So that's why I asked.
As far as like you with both parents, like what, of course, everybody look at having two parents being, you know, a good thing, and which granted it is. I mean, you get to see both sides of things. But as far as in your opinion, do you see some things within, you know, having both of your parents that you would possibly say, okay, this kind of didn't really help me, or this kind of hurt me in the long run?
Okay. That's a good one. I would have to say, like, for me, I got like, and it's, you know, it's different two-parent homes, period. You know, like they're toxic two-parent homes. I feel like I had a pretty positive one. Like, my folks was like real churchy and religious and everything, and they lived that church life outside of church too. So it was like, but one thing I've realized since I've been like an adult and talked to my parents like on equal levels, like they told me like it was, for us it was about being on the same page. So like if one of them felt like the other parent was wrong, they had their back, and then they'll check them later on. So it's like, was it a two-parent home? Yeah. Like if dad is wrong, mom gonna be wrong with him, and then she gonna talk to him. And you know, so.
But I feel like with that situation, it, you know, if you look at it, it's still that two-parent household, because there's still some type of corrective action that goes on. So it's not like, you know, I'm wrong, and even though I may know I'm wrong, I don't have any type of person to correct me. So it's like, I'm going to continue with this mindset, even though they kind of upheld that within front of you, which I mean, which is definitely understandable. Okay. It's like behind closed doors, it was corrected, and then the next time, you know, the situation may change. So I feel like that's how you see, like, where you be like, oh, dang, this parent kind of being more lenient. I feel like that's where leniency comes from. You know, corrective action behind closed doors.
I definitely knew who to ask because of that. Because like I said, they was gonna back each other up. So I learned how to play the game. Like, okay, dad pretty lenient on things like this. You know, let me do this.
See, that's the hard part about not having it. You be like, man, it is what it is. Like, if I don't get it, I don't get it. But
I mean, it was, for me, I learned how to play the game, and then they caught on and they switched the rules, you know. But I mean, like, I definitely think, I can't really speak on the handicap, but I definitely think it was good for me, because like some kids do well in one parent homes, and some do bad in two parent homes. Yeah, you know, like for me, I knew if one parent was busy, the other one was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of the things, like, they could stagger work and play. You know, like, okay, dad's off this day, he can drop me off here or whatever. So, well, with one parent home, you know, they still got to bring in the income of 9 times out of 10. So it was, I feel like I was sheltered a little bit more because they had time to shelter me. Yeah. Do you feel like you missed out on sheltering, or like you were kind of let do what you want?
Nah, I feel like when I was young, like when I was before getting to high school, definitely before getting to high school, I feel like personally, I was extremely sheltered. Personally, I feel like that. Of course, like from the outside, other people probably be like, nah.
Yeah, but when I saw you, I was like, man, he get to do whatever he wants.
But to me, like, I was just like, man, I don't get to do that. And which, to a certain extent, you know, I feel like my mom did a great job when it came to not allowing us to be in things that we weren't supposed to be in. For instance, like, you know, we weren't able to leave our block with our bikes, like, for a while. Like, if you know, rode your bikes out, you couldn't leave that particular block. Like, you go from this to the block.
You couldn't go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And funny thing about it, our house is in the alley, so we still can see the porch. Still can see the porch. But anyway, like, you know, like I said, if like you said, in, you know, I guess in those terms, you know, if you couldn't see the porch there, you know, you weren't supposed to be there. So for me, when I think of being strict, I always revert back to that. You know, those days of not being able to leave the street. You know, without, you know, of course, without my mom. You know, even with, you know, me and my brother, we could still, you know, we probably could, you know, venture out a little bit further when it's both of us, but it was rare that happened. So I feel like the leniency didn't come until more so high school, when I started to, you know, but you know, understand who I was personally, and understand, you know, I ain't gonna say understand right from wrong, because I felt like I knew right from wrong at an early age, but being able to apply those things, like
old enough to care about.
And being like, okay, like I know I'm not supposed to do that. I know I'm supposed to do this. So stuff like that. So I feel like it got way more lenient within those times, especially when I got my car. Like it was like, you know, as long as you in at a certain period. And sometimes, you know, my mom would say, you know, with us growing up together, she was like, you know, if you was going there, I was good. Yeah. So that literally all it depended on. So that's why I used to like,
I couldn't leave the house unless you was going because I have a car.
Like, man, you can come on, man, so we can go.
Come on, man.
But yeah,
my folks say no, your folks say
exactly. No. Like shit, we can't win for lose.
3-parent homes.
But yeah, man. But like I said, I mean, the leniency was it was that, you know, when I hit a certain age, that's when it became, I got more freedom, and you know, rightfully so.
I feel just something I was thinking about while you was talking about, like you said, your mom, like she was on you, like, cause she had to like fill the void, I guess, if that's a good word, of discipline that your dad would have put there. So your mom, like, she put in extra, you know what I'm saying, like discipline or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I had other friends, one in specific who, you know, I'm not sure what the situation was, but his dad went in the house and he was spoiled. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like his mom got him whatever he asked, and it's almost like she was trying to make up for that with like material things. Like, she was a good mom, like, don't get me wrong, but like she gave him whatever he asked for, because she was like, well, you don't have a dad. Let me get you these things. So like me being young minded and dumb, I was like, man, dad need to go somewhere so I can get these PlayStation, you know? Yeah. So, cause like it was crazy. Like it had got to the point, cause like Yu-Gi-Oh was real big, and I remember I was like, man, I'm trying to get that Blue Eyes. And he's like, oh, I got 7 of them. I was like, how you only need 3? Let me get, you know,
that's when you steal. That's what
you know. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but this, so he was like, here, you can have these 3 right here, and then I still have 4. I was like, all right, word, appreciate it. Yeah. And then like the next day, he had 4 more Blue Eyes. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You know, she's like, well, mom bought me this. I remember I used to have to beg and plead and be good the week prior, just to get a little $9 pack of cards, $4 pack of cards at Target. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy that back then we cared. You know what I'm saying? To be like, man, I just want some cards. Man, like, think about it. Like, now it's just like, man, I gotta pay rent. You feel? What? Like, I gotta get myself together. But nah, like I see where you come from with that, like with it being one of those things where it's like, okay, are you making up for something, like for this void? Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of parents do that. Like they kind of be like, they find this thing to where it's like, okay, you know, my child didn't have this, and I see it a lot, like on social media, where, you know, single parents would be like, you know, my child ain't got to want for nothing, whatever. And I feel like in a way that's kind of them playing into the idea of, okay, they lack this, so it's like I have to, you know, promote getting them everything that they want, or at least try my best to. Right. And I feel like, growing up, personally, my mom, she definitely bought me like a lot of things that I wanted. I remember getting like certain gifts that, honestly, I didn't even ask for or didn't even know I want until I got it. I was like, oh yeah, like this is dope. Yeah. But I feel like, I don't know if my mom did that from the idea of, you know, me not having my father and losing my father at such a young age. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it was for her one of those coping mechanisms to be like, hey, you know, I'm gonna buy you this, and that, and, you know, to make you feel better or make you and your siblings feel better. I don't know if it was that. I feel like it was because I honestly don't see any other purpose in doing it. Besides, if you just want your kid to have all of these things, I guess that's cool too. But to a certain extent, it could be, destructive because your child starts to think
expect stuff.
And you think like, okay, I'm supposed to have this, I'm supposed to have that. So when you see other people with things, and in your eyes, it's kind of like, oh, they got more than me, even though you may see them with this, and that may be all they have, and your eyes is like, oh, I don't have that, so they have more than me. I have to acquire that. I got to compete with them.
Exactly.
So, like I said, I think it hinders in a way.
So as somebody who, like you said, one parent home, and we both know where we come from, one parent home, and where you are now, mm-hmm. Do you feel like that got you here, on will alone? You were the first one to go to college, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, you finished college, got your degree, and got a job. So, do you feel like that? Do you feel like it was harder because you had one parent, or do you feel like you had something more to prove?
I felt like both. I feel like it was hard because I did have my mom, and I felt like I definitely felt like I had something to prove, which in a way kind of made me look at it from that perspective of, okay, I'm lacking, this, and that's something even to this day that I still kind of deal with, because you always wonder, like, okay, what if I did still have my dad? You always kind of wonder that, or mother for some people. So it's always this idea of, or this this dream that you always see, or this vision that you always see of, okay, what would I have been like if I had both of my parents? Yeah. And, every step or every accomplishment that you do get, or you do, everything you accomplish, you kind of look at it from that perspective. It's always in the back of your mind of, okay, how fast would I have gotten it if I had both? Yeah. Like, how would I have reached this point, if I did? Or would I even reach this point? For me going to college, like, I always wonder, like, okay, could I have made it here? Or would I even had the desire to go to college if I had both of my parents? Because maybe my dad would have been just that deciding factor to where financially we was in a position that we didn't have to really worry about a lot. Yeah. So I feel like sometimes with worry, it develops this drive within you to be like, okay, I have to accomplish something. I have to do something.
So on a quick tangent then, do you feel like you went to college out of necessity? Like, because we, humble beginnings. Do you feel like you went to college to change the game and bring more? Do you think you went to college because that's what you were supposed to do?
I've always heard people talk about college. So in a way, I felt like that was what I was supposed to do. I feel like, you graduate high school, you go to college. I've never seen it, so to say. Like, I've seen people go to college, but as far as my immediate family, like people that, I could see, the everyday thing. I didn't get that perspective of things. So for me, it was kind of one of those things where when I hit a certain age, I was like, man, I got if anything, and I heard a guy say, I think it was Eric Thomas, so shout out to Eric Thomas. But I think he said that if I graduate high school, if I graduate college, the least my kid can do is graduate high school. And some of my siblings, they didn't get a chance to, finish high school. And I see how that affect them at times. And, of course, I'm always supporting them. I always try to push them to, continue to go further. But I know how it is when, first off, I know how it is with school. So, and I know that with school is one of those things where when you stop, you kind of don't want to, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go back.
Oh, 100.
Yeah,
you're talking to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I asked, did you go out of necessity? Because, for me, 2-parent home, and the only person that I saw go to, well, I think my mom went and did like, certification in nursing and whatnot. But like my aunt, she went, to UA and graduated all these honors and stuff like that. But like in a 2-parent home, like college was like, you gonna go.
Yeah.
You gonna go to college because that's what you're supposed to do. Yada, yada, yada. And my folks had never, really went to university like that. So it was like, why are you vouching for this?
Yeah.
You went, it was like, that was
you don't
even
even know.
You know what I'm saying? So it was pushed on me. But even though it was pushed on me, I never thought of being in college. Because for the longest, I just knew I was going to go to the NFL. And you got to go through college to go to the NFL. So for me, college was a way through, not a way to. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, obviously, when we started, we were roommates for the first 2 years of college. Then, like, mess around, and I mean, I just didn't finish. I was like, because I was doing better not in college than I was in college. You know what I'm saying? And it's really not for everybody. Because like on paper, you be like, okay, Reggie. Well, maybe not on paper. You wouldn't really think I was that smart, but like if you know me, you be like, okay, dude use big words, dude talk about, dude's nerdy pretty much. He goofy, so he the college type of dude. And I think if I'd have taken it seriously, I could have finished, and I could, but I didn't have a desire. I don't have a desire. I never really took academics that serious. Studying on my own was more for me. So, like most times you think, okay, 2-parent home, that guy's going to college. That guy's going to do this. That guy's going to do that. And like, I just straight up was just like, it ain't for me, And that's why I asked, like, 1-parent home, did you go out of necessity? 2-parent home, I went because I was told to.
Gotcha.
And I think that breeds a completely different outlook on college. Yeah. Because like, now that we both out, like, you finished and I'm just out. Like, now that we both not in it, we have like a similar view of it. Like, it's useful. It's very useful. It's like a tool, but if you don't know how to use that tool, or you just not good with that tool, why use it? So especially if we're gonna put you in debt.
But, oh, definitely. We'll do that. But this is my my question, and I feel like it relates well with you having both of your parents not going to college. Do you feel like that helped you be okay with not finishing college?
I definitely did not think about that until you asked me. I think it might have, man, because like, wow, well, that's a question right there. I think that might have done it subconsciously, because my folks, they were never, once I went and like, didn't finish, because I didn't just outright stop. It was like, okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back, and then it was like, I ain't going back. Yeah. So they didn't really push me once I went. It seemed, and either they just knew that I really didn't want to do it, and they didn't make me feel bad about it, or they were happy that I tried. Gotcha. But I think subconsciously it was like, okay, I got farther than you guys, and I realized that it wasn't for me. But I think subconsciously, now that I think about it, probably so. Just think about, like, if someone's telling you, oh, you got to go jump off that building, but they ain't never even climb on the building. Yeah. You're like, oh, no, I'm cool down here. So it was like that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good question, man.
I appreciate it. I put that thing
together.
Feel. Yeah, how I come through. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because, so overall, with both topics, with 1-parent versus 2-parent household, and college degree versus no degree, what's your conclusion as far as is it a handicap?
You gonna hate my answer. I feel like it's the variable is you. Okay. Because you see 2-parent household people like me who didn't have a desire, who didn't finish it. I wouldn't say having 2 parents was a handicap. It was just me. I didn't. If anything, I stood in my own way. It wasn't what I wanted to do. And sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do to get to a place you've never been. But for me, that just wasn't my route. So 2-parent, 1-parent, I can't speak on that. But I definitely think having 2 parents was not a handicap. But I don't think it was what's the opposite of handicap? Boost.
Now
handicap goes both ways, actually. I think.
Is it? I don't know, man. You asking the wrong
anyway.
person.
Do you think it was do you think having one was a handicap?
I don't know why my boy you go for the cry.
Yeah, you for the cry. I see you cry. He
cried. No, I don't think it was a handicap. I mean, if anything, I mean, like you said, it all depends on you. Mm-hmm. You know, you just gotta. Yeah, I feel like this is how I look at it. Regardless of whether you got both parents or you got just one parent, are you happy with your circumstances? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like even there are people who parents are well off, they have both of their parents, they're in, you know, whatever, and they still fall into, you know, certain categories of people who may just have one parent. Like, they still kind of fall in that, you know, fall in that
like
space.
Workaholic dad and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's like, it's so many different things that rely, you know, mostly on you as a person. And I feel like the only way that you're going to get on that tip of becoming successful, and by successful, I mean, you know, you have your own form of success. You know what successful, like what success is to you. So I feel like when you want to become successful and you look back on your circumstances, you look from that perspective. And I know for me personally, I look from that perspective of, do I want to be in this position? Do I want my kids to go through this? And when I realized, okay, I didn't want my kids to go through that, then I knew that, okay, like I had to do something about it. So I feel like, in short, to say is you think outside of yourself for a while, and you think of, you know, your future and the people that come after you. Yeah. So for instance, you may have nieces, nephews. Like for me, I had that. And I had a little sister, and I know you had a little sister. So I feel like maybe that could have been that determining factor for us. Me coming from two different setups. And
her, like, she coming from the same two-parent household, and like, oh, she gonna finish. I can tell the way she started.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and if she don't, you know, ain't no shame.
Hey, we both started on the time.
We came a little rough, but you know. But I think we was trailblazers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had to cut that tall grass down. So
exactly. So now it's easier.
Just like our parents made it easier for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you finished, so like, you know, when it comes to cap and gown ordering, you can help your little sister that. When Asia come to me and say, okay, what I need, I'm like, I don't know, G. You know, so I feel, you know, like thinking about how you would like others that come after you to, if you'd be okay with them going through, I think that definitely helps answer the handicap question too.
Mm-hmm.
One more on top of that. Do you feel like at this point, you having your degree is a leg up on people who don't?
From going through the hiring process and working, you know, luckily I get to work with my bosses who are the owners of this business. So I get to understand how business work a lot of times, and I get to kind of talk to, you know, majority of the time I talk to one of my bosses, and me and him, we have like some pretty in-depth conversation when it comes to business. So I do understand that a lot of times it's about what you can do and not about what you know.
Yeah.
So for instance, like on a lot of job applications, they ask you, you know, or they require to have a certain amount of years of experience. Mm-hmm. And I know as college students, the first thing we be on it, we be like, how are we gonna have experience we just got out of college? You see what I'm saying? So I feel like some advice I would give to anybody who goes through college, who don't go through college, work on the craft first, or while doing whatever it is you're doing. So it's like, if you want to be, you know, let's say an electrician or whatever you want to do, like work on learning that in any shape or form. And then, you know, while getting your education, always work on the actual hands-on stuff. So when you get there, it's not like unfamiliar to you. Like,
I would watch a video if I was an electrician though.
Yeah. You gotta watch video.
You don't want to touch Pikachu.
I'm gonna tell you now, like, YouTube is like the new college.
That's
like
what
YouTube
I tell people.
University.
They're like, man, I say Google University. I'm telling you, man. like I've learned more now. Like I've probably been out of college at this point the same amount of time that I was in it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I ain't finished college, so I don't know.
So, you stupid.
So, you know, like I feel like I've learned just about the same or more, most likely more than I have. Then I've used more, you know, more tools now than I did then, and my network is more popping now than it was then. Like, granted, I did meet a lot of people that I network with now from college. Like, college is really just paid networking for me. Yeah. You know, because I didn't get the degree out of it. But, like, the people who go there and just, like, do books, you only getting half of it. Yeah. It's all about the networking, man. Like, I mean, like, I'm literally, like, we went to school with the dude who probably going to bring back the NCAA video games. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out, man. I ain't going to say his name. I ain't going to mess up your hustle. But, you know, like, it's crazy. So, yeah, Google and YouTube University, man. Tell you, that's the future. Better go now before they raise tuition. Exactly. YouTube already trying to add it in there.
They already charging. It's right now, but it's $14 a month.
Yes, $15 a month. But you can close the app and listen to music, so that's the plus side.
Exactly. So I mean that's good. But like I said, I mean, learn what you want to do while learning the educational part of it,
and make sure you love it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, make sure ain't no shame in like finding out a year or two in that like this ain't what it is. Exactly. Because you rather wasted a year and not even really wasted. You still learn. Mm-hmm. You make sure you love it because it's gonna get hard. I don't care what it is. Like it's gonna get hard, but it's supposed to. You know. So make sure you love it. Make sure you learn it. Make sure you live it.
Oh yeah, definitely. But so I guess that concludes for this particular podcast of Chop It Up. So we figured out, is it a handicap, one parent versus two parent household, college degree versus no degree? Please, you know,
we'd like to hear from y'all.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. You know, even if you got your own personal experiences, please, you know, don't write a textbook, but you know, let us know, like, you know, what's your situation, how it helped you, how it hindered you, whatever. Because I mean, we're just speaking from our experience. We can't tell you how you feel or whatever, or your situation. So just please let us know. Please inform us if we are misinformed. And we will be doing other things later on. Hopefully, we'll eventually get merchandise. Me and my boy, we both work. We got the clothing on lock, so we'll collab and do some stuff. Sure. We also gonna open up some fundraising accounts to help us grow our podcast and channel.
Microphones, audio mixing, mastering. You know, all the other stuff that you would know if you went to college. You know? So,
well, you know, we got both of your folks in the house.
Both people in the house. You know,
but yeah, and we would love to collab with some very creative people out there. So if you're creative, you got some ideas and stuff that you know you think will help the podcast out, or you would want to hear on the podcast, please let us know. And as far as like we're helping us grow the podcast and possibly a YouTube channel, it all depends on how this goes. We'll definitely be looking for artists as far as musicians, graphic designers, just regular like studio artists, all types of stuff. So yeah, if you got any type of talent, please stay tuned, subscribe to this podcast, and if we put this on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And
definitely, if you have other things you like to hear our take on, we would love to hear that too.
Please,
you know, so. Definitely that.
And that will help us out a lot. Sure. So, like I said, just do that. And if you subscribe, you can stay up to date. That way you know if your topic is being talked about or not. And we'll give you a shout out. But if it's more than one person with the same kind of pitch, we will try to, you know, include everybody within that shout out. And hopefully we don't miss anybody. But if we do, you know, charge our hit our minds, not our hearts.
I like that. No, I ain't never heard that.
Charge our minds.
Charge our minds, not our heart.
So please do that. Hey, you know how I do, man. You know
me. Rocking right now.
But yeah, so definitely check us out, subscribe, and that's it for Chop It Up
with Reg
and Ken.
Bye.